You may not know them yet, but they're already making their mark.
This week, we are meeting some rising political stars on track to reshaping our nation's future. And our first mover and shaker, Oklahoma's first African-American House Speaker, and also its youngest speaker ever, T.W. Shannon. What an honor to have you here.
Oh, it's my privilege. Thank you.
Huge fan.
Great to have you.
Nice to see you.
No, my honor. Thank you.
You know, Oklahoma, it's one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation right
Absolutely.
now. And I'm sure just walking in there and making sure that that remains the case is one of your
Well, it didn't
goals.
happen until I got elected. That's
Right?
the first thing.
Right, so there we go. But you say that federal invasion and confusion is the #1 threat to things like economy and family, et cetera.
You bet. Well, there's no question that, you know, if you look at what's happening nationally, one thing that we can all agree is we can't continue to wait for the federal government to lead, whether it's in areas of education or you know, economic development. Washington has proven it's either incapable or unwilling to make the necessary changes. If there's going to be reform in this country, it's going to happen in the halls of state governments. I'm absolutely convinced.
Well, you heard us introduce you, African-American, first and
Sure.
historic. What's your role on race in this country? Which direction are we going in your mind? Are we getting better or worse?
Well, certainly things have gotten a lot better, but certainly we've got a long way to go as well. I mean, when you look at, you know, the unemployment for what this administration has done for unemployment for the country, but also for African Americans, there's truly a long way for us to go. We've been proving in Oklahoma that conservative principles are what lead to prosperity. This idea of getting people addicted to government, it's the way of the past. We've got to move past that and introduce some free market principles and ideas. That's what's going to move the country forward, I believe.
Sure. TW, what do you make of the criticism of the Republican Party? Oh, it's too far to the left, or too far to the right. It's moving toward the left. It's too far in the middle. They got to do this. They got to do that.
You know, I've heard that certainly we've got to do a better job of getting our messaging out and making sure we show up where different people are, and certainly that's the biggest challenge that we have. But I think when you think, you know, long-term about the Republican Party, our principles about personal responsibility, that's what we've got to be promoting as a party. You bet. And, you know, our biggest challenge, I think, as a party is we got to learn to lose like Democrats. When the Democrats lose and lost the election in 2000, they said what? They stole it. When we lost, you start hearing, oh, it's the end of the Republican Party. Give me a break. We're going to be the ones to get this country turned around.
What does J.C. Watts meant to you in your career?
Yeah, J.C. is one of my biggest mentors and personal friends. I mean, that guy, there's nobody who does it like he does. He is absolutely, you know, what you see on camera is the guy he is behind the scene, too. I worked for him for 2.5 years. He's been a great mentor and friend. But I got my real principles, conservative principles, from my African-American church back in Lawton, Oklahoma, Bethlehem Baptist Church. That's where I learned my conservative principles.
Really?
Yeah.
Church?
We're glad you did, for sure.
Well, you're kind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you
Oh,
here.
thank you for having me, Elizabeth.
And with a young family, it's a huge commitment,
Yes.
but you're willing to put the time in, a guy in his 30s with such a prominent spot. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well done.